Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, we saw that ES made a marginal new all-time high. The previous all-time high was 88.75, and in the overnight session so far, we've seen a push up to 89.75, which just confirms that the buyers are in firm control here. So heading into the open, we know that there is still potential for continuation, but at the same time, in the short term, this 88.75 level could be a spot where we get some profit taking. So just something to bear in mind that even though the buyers are in control and the expectation is for ES to continue heading higher, there could be some profit taking happening around the 88.75 level heading into the open. On the downside, we have the prior day's high, 85.5, the previous VPOC at 84. Those are some short-term levels where buyers can be active. The primary support it's 77.5 to 2080, followed by 72 to 74. And the idea is that, given the upside conviction and strength we're seeing in this market, any pullback into support can be a short-term long setup. So in the event that we do get a pullback to 77.5 to 2080, and as long as there aren't any major warning signs as that pullback happens, so the internals are not extremely weak or the momentum is not majorly on the downside, then 77.5 to 80 can be a good long play. And in the event of a deeper pullback, 72 to 74 would still be a good spot to enter long. But ideally, the market doesn't really pull back that much. If the market is truly strong, then we should not really see a major pullback. Ideally, we want to see the market holding above the 84, 85 area and then balancing and then breaking out and going higher. Now, on the upside, there is no hard resistance, right? We're at all-time highs, so there is no resistance. The market can quite easily go up to 2096 and 2099 to 2101, which is really more psychological resistance around that 2100 level. But aside from that, there is no major resistance up here. We're at fresh all-time highs. So, on the short side, it's going to be much riskier and it's going to be more difficult to really spot a short setup at fresh all-time highs, or at least understand that you're not leaning against any type of resistance area if you are shorting or if you are finding any short setup at these upper prices. That it would have to be something that gets spotted in real time. It would have to be a short-term price pattern that develops after the open. But it's not going to be based on trade location or any hard resistance up here. So the main idea really is to look for upside continuation, but we are going to be watching to see how the market reacts at 88.75 to 89.75. That's the previous all-time high, and as long as we're not rejecting and outright failing at that level, we should be okay for a move at least up to 2096 and probably up towards 99 to 01. Keep an eye on TF to just make sure that that market is not running into any resistance or weakness. TF has not yet made a new all-time high, but it's very close, and there's no reason to think that TF won't also make a new all-time high at this point. So right now the market is very bullish, but at the same time, we are at fresh all-time highs. So even on the long side, you do have to be quite nimble, just because there can be profit taking up here, and at least on the smaller time frames, getting a 2 or 3 point pullback wouldn't really mean anything. In this kind of environment, the market would have to move significantly lower in order to invalidate the bullish bias, and that can be a bit of a challenge as well. But it also keeps things relatively simple because you can focus primarily on the long side and really only take shorts if there are very clear-cut signs that this is a failure, or at least a short-term failure at the previous all-time high. So unless we're seeing some clear warning signs that this is just a market that's not going to go higher, the focus is going to remain on looking for conservative long setups with good reward to risk. And on the upside, just keep in mind that because there is no target, there's nothing in the way at this point. You break through 88.75 to 89.75, and how high the S&P ends up going on the day time frame is really going to be determined by just the level of volume and activity we see in the market, and the level of momentum we have behind it. Because there's no resistance, there's nothing stopping the market from going, significantly higher from here. So we could see 2100, or at least a test of that, either today or in the very near future. So that idea is going to be at the forefront, and we're just going to be keeping an eye on pre-market resistance zone to see, is the market rejecting that area, or are we holding up pretty well? Overall, as long as we're holding above 84 to 85 half in the short term, that's very bullish. But again, even if we pulled back to 77 half to 80, 72, 74, those would still be very good areas to look for long setups on first test. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see how well the buyers are able to maintain control here, and we'll take it from there.